What's going on?
How's it going?
God bless you. A Muslim?
I am.
Well, okay. Why did Allah think Mary was part of the Trinity?
Well, I think it's I came on this podcast to listen to you guys talk about your beliefs.
Okay, you want to talk about my beliefs? You have a question?
Yeah.
What's your question?
I do. Can you explain the Trinity to me?
Can I explain the Trinity to you in what way? What part of it doesn't make sense to you?
How the Trinity came about between the Old Testament and New Testament?
What you mean, how did it come about? It was in the Old Testament too.
What do you mean between? Yeah.
Jesus is never referenced in the Old Testament.
Yeah, but,
I'm sorry, just 1 second before we answer. So if we show you that it is taught in Jewish literature before Christ, and it is found in the Old Testament in concept wise, the concept is there, and the New Testament basically finalized it or officialized it.
But it doesn't clearly state that, though.
Does it have to be always clear statement?
Clearly states. It is clear. God states specifically He has a son, and blessed are those that put their hope in Him. Psalm chapter 2 at the end.
Yeah, like notice.
So remember,
notice Travis.
Yeah.
He's gonna keep moving the goalpost every second now. Just notice that.
No, I'm not. I'm just.
Well, remember,
I'm here to hear you guys
remember the
out.
Quran. Imran, you remember the Quran? You remember where it says, "If Allah has a son, we'd be the first of His worshippers." So it seems like the Quran understands, right? The Quran understands that if God had a son, He would have God's nature, right? We have the same nature as our fathers.
I think the context there is a little different than.
Well, no, the context
is
if Allah had a son.
It is.
Well, hold on. No, literally, it says, friend, it literally says, if Allah has a son, we would be the first of His worshipers. Now, the God of the Bible has a son. He clearly indicates this in the Psalms. He indicates this in Proverbs, Isaiah chapter 9, that He has a son.
I don't think it correlates directly that Jesus is God. A son could be
Okay,
a son correlation could be Him as a prophet.
Do you worship anything except for God in Islam?
No, I don't worship anything other than God.
Okay, and in Islam it says if God had a son, you would be Muhammad would be the first to worship him. Will Muhammad worship something other than God?
If he did.
If he did, my point is, yeah, that's cool. But let's stick with the if.
It's correlating. It's correlating to the Christian beliefs of believing in a son as God.
So if the God of the Old Testament has a son, we would be well within our rights to worship Him according to the Quran, right?
But I think the context here, you have to understand the Trinity first before you start digressing into the details of passages of the Old
Allah
Testament.
had a son, say, O Muhammad, if the Most High were to have a son, I would be the first of His worshipers. Now, if the Christian God has a son, we should worship Him, correct?
If
Muhammad would. If the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has a son, we all worship Him.
You're taking that literally. That was a proving point, or something that's reference to what Christians believe as a son being a part of God.
If Allah had a son, would Muhammad be the first of His worshipers?
If Allah had a son, would Muhammad be the first of His worship?
Yes. That's what the verse says, right?
Allah is one. You're taking the whole context of the Quran. Allah is not attributed to any person.
Here, don't
just answer the question, right? We don't need your exegesis.
We'll move you. Yeah, we'll move you if you don't answer.
Because I'm already on my topic.
Son, would Muhammad?
I mean, why would you move me?
Last chance. Last chance. Right? If Allah had a son, would Muhammad be the first of His worshipers?
I think you guys have spent a lot of context on Aisha.
Okay, have a good one.
Then he brought up Aisha.
So
he brought up Aisha for. We didn't brought up Aisha all day. Oh, we did actually for a little while. I forgot, but barely.
Right. The Quran says if the God had a son, that He would be worthy of worship, and the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the Old Testament has a son, and dictates that blessed are those that put their trust in Him.
Oh shoot, they got Travis.